Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, The Nostalgic Dragon. Today I want to talk to you about reading as meditation, or more specifically, what kind of reading culture do we want to promote? We have a society today where things are going very fast. It ties into the work culture, of course, and it also ties into the hobby culture. When it comes to work, I can accept that it's focused on production and results, but when it comes to hobbies, I think it's important to remind ourselves that it's just a hobby. It's very easy to search on YouTube for videos about how many books different people have read, or how fast they have read books, or how fast they have played games, for example. That's not the point, at least not for me. I want to give you, I think, six examples on how we can promote a slower hobby culture, reading culture, gaming culture, or whatever hobby you have. So this is not just targeted for the ordinary followers of the channel. If you have a hobby, how can you make the hobby mindful? The title for the video is Reading as Meditation. As some of you know, I'm also educated in meditation, and I can teach people how to meditate, and I do that from time to time, not so much at the moment. I think there are a lot of lessons from the yoga and from the meditation that you can bring into your reading. Because of that, I have the Patanjali's Yoga Sutra here. If anyone is interested in that, I also have the books I'm currently reading, and that is the Book of the New Sun. It's the Beauchelin and Corbel Brooch, and it's the Hussite trilogy by Andrzej Sapkowski, the Witcher author. As many of you know, I'm reading slow, and I was thinking about that because I finished a lot of books this year. Some of them have been reviewed on the channel, like the Sun Eater series, for example, some Malasan books, the Witcher books, for example. I've read three already this year. And that is without a TBR, to be read list. I've also finished a lot of games, video games and board games. Outer Worlds is the latest game I finished without having these boxes I tick into, checklists. I just do it. I just do it for fun, and I let it grow spontaneously. What do I want to do today that is mindful? How would I like to slow down my time today? What should I read, or what TV show maybe should I watch? I would like to inspire you to slow down the tempo and to breathe slower. And I would like to remind you about what hobbies should be like. First of all, no goal. There is no goal with a hobby. That's something very important. I think that's something different from work, for example. There are goals. You can approach work with this kind of Zen like attitude, of course, as well. You don't need to have the focus on results and productions, but maybe work, it's built in the work culture, so to speak. We can like it or we can dislike it. When it comes to hobbies, I say we don't like having goals. We're just there to enjoy our time and making something fun and precious of our free time. So no competition, no results, and it's 110% focus on enjoyment and immersion. You want to be with a hobby of yours. Let's say books, to make simplify it. You want to be in the book. You want to be in the character with the characters. You want to experience what they see, what they feel, and you want to reflect on what happens in the book. To do that, you have to slow down your pace. You have to slow down stress. You have to increase your slow breathing, because this should be fun and it should be relaxing, at least if you ask me. Um, I don't know what you think about this. I'm happy to hear your thoughts on this. You maybe approve or applaud, or you might not you might dislike this. Please comment if you dislike it too. I have listed a few things that I wanted to share with you. Um, First of all, I want to say that the breathing that we can do when we read is to breathe from the stomach very slowly, almost automatically, and feel the belly pushes in and moves in and out, right? Like it does when you breathe. Don't force it, but just feel the breath. I think automatically you will slow down your reading pace when you start to read with that breath or that breathing. I also think that's important for the tempo because there is no competition here. You can read a book for half a year, 1 week, 2 weeks. It doesn't matter. You should just read it to enjoy it. I also think we have to question why we read. Do we read to, finish 50 books during a month, or do we read to understand? I know that some people absolutely here on YouTube can read so many books and can understand and analyze so many books. I'm not that kind of reader, and maybe you are not that too. I think it's more rewarding to read slow, to really think about what's happening in the book, in the plot, what people are saying. As you know, I like to take notes, but that's not for everyone. And if that's not relaxing for you, you shouldn't take notes. Then you should just read and immerse and enjoy yourself with the book you are reading. I think you can see the book or the game or the other hobby you have as a friend. How would you treat a friend? Would you rush everything with your friend? If you take a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or invite your friend to your house, you want to be with that friend. The book or the hobby you have is your friend, so treat it with respect, I would say. You can read the book for 20 pages and put it away. Open it up the next day or even the next week, and then continue. I think you should read until you are content with the content being mindful. I think that's a great way to read. It's not the most efficient way of reading, but maybe for the soul, I think that's something worth trying because I hope you can feel better, more relaxed, more prepared for the upcoming busy week, work week, for example, or whatever you do if you study, for example, your school week. You can also pause in the book, of course, just trying to feel what they feel using your senses. Try to imagine what they see. Try to imagine how things appear. If they are touching things, how can that feel? It's a very special way of reading. I'm aware of that, but I don't think I'm alone with reading in this way. You can also do that when you do other things like playing video games or board games. If you play a video game, I played Starfield for a few days ago, and I was just sitting down at a cafe in, I think it's called the Atlantic City. So I just sat there, drank my coffee, did other things here, reading actually a book and drinking a cup of tea, of course. You can do that too. You can do that in books and games. You can do that in board games. You can do that if you maybe are into other kind of hobbies like painting, for example. Maybe just paint for a while, then stop. You don't need to be finished. There is no goal. And if there is no goal, I think the results will be better. Even that sounds a bit contradictory. I think it's true. If you act calm, if you take a step away and don't think about results and production, you will be rewarded much, much better. um, and you will reduce stress. There is a thing with reading as a meditation because the nerve system has two parts, and one part of the nerve system is will increase your fight and flight response, your stress, you getting into conflict, you getting higher heart rate, heartbeat, blood pressure rising. That's one part of that. Yeah, you are vigilant, so to speak. Then there is the other part where you reduce blood pressure, reduce blood sugar, for example, reduce stress and anxiety. That is the part that we want to access, I think, when we read or do other hobbies. We want to come to that peaceful state of mind, mindful. It's a misused word nowadays, but being mindful, being in the moment, and so on. There are many cliches for this. When you do that, you have the opportunity to contemplate more over what you read or what you do. And that is something that can be worth a lot. I have the idea from my meditation that if you can get 5 minutes of peaceful time just during a day, you can recover a lot. If you can expand that to 10 or to 15 and 20, and so on, you will get re-energized. You might get even more energized than when you actually are sleeping. At least if we talk about pure meditation, you're sitting on a pillow and breathing. But I think you can translate that to other things. You don't need to do yoga to meditate, so to speak. That's one of the points with this video. I also think that there is biased expression sometimes, especially here on YouTube. It's called a mood reader or mood anything, mood gaming, maybe. So many people usually state here on the BookTube, in the BookTube community, that they are not mood readers because they read according to a plan. I am a mood reader. I can't read things I don't want to read. I can't force myself to read things. So being a mood reader is in my DNA, so to speak. I think that's something very beautiful and something very great that we have to promote, that we do things that we like. I think that's one of the beautiful points with the myth of Sisyphus here by Albert Camus, for example, too. There is no inherent meaning of life, but we can find meaning in life by doing things that we really, really enjoy. And it goes not only for the things I've talked about. If you drink your tea or your coffee, do it mindful. Honor the free time you have and see what happens. So I'm curious to hear about how you approach your hobbies. Do you stress through your hobbies or stress into your hobbies? Or do you try to slow down? If you enjoy being, fast and quick and so on, there is nothing wrong with that. Just continue. For me, however, I think the most rewarding thing is that you have done something valuable, something relaxing, something peaceful that can re-energize you for the tasks that we usually have in life that can be stressful. So that was a small reading as a meditation rant. I'm curious to hear what you think. I'm also curious to see you very, very soon here on the channel again, because my voice is now back and I'm feeling energized, by the way. And I'm looking forward to talk about reading and gaming and storytelling in many, many different ways. So until next time, have a great Saturday and see you very soon. Bye.